Yes, hello. My name is Sanya Grace. I'm joined with Reka Baan today. I believe there's a typo as we applied last year, and other members of the panel originally have been graduates since then. But it is Reka and I today, and I'm just going to share a PowerPoint really quickly. And I appreciate the kind introduction. We wanted to do this presentation today, especially because knowing how everyone has been so cautious with COVID and that everyone is a little hesitant about travel right now, we want that in a post-pandemic world to ensure that students are still willing to enjoy study abroad, because we think it is definitely a worthwhile opportunity.
So, hi everyone. Thank you, Sanya. I'm going to be talking about Semester at Sea, a program I participated last year when the COVID pandemic started. If you guys don't mind, I will leave my video off because my internet connection is not the best. So I went on an adventure starting in San Diego last year, and I have never imagined that I'm going to be on the road traveling with a ship towards Asia in the moment when we learned about the pandemic. So just telling this to everyone, travel is becoming more safer, and I believe if you would like to travel in the future, there are ways you can do this. Obviously, there are a lot of precautions to be made. The reason why I applied to this program, because it is said to be the best campus experience and the most special, coolest college experience, because it is in different countries and you can actually immerse yourself in cultures across the globe. And this is what we actually did. As you can see on this slide, we went to cities all over the world, and we actually covered a lot of different continents. We had academic experiences that I will definitely never forget. And I chose this experience over other ones because you can go to more countries, learn about the culture more deeply than in other places. And of course, it is not mainly focused on a new language learning opportunity, but you can actually take language classes during your time on the ship. And the places I visited were San Diego, and then we went to Hawaii, continued to Japan and Vietnam, then Port Louis, and we disembarked in Cape Town in March because the State Department sent us home for our safety. And the reason why it's very different from any other study abroad programs, because you are going to be challenged on many different ways. Actually, this program gives you the opportunity to travel independently as well as with semester at sea programs. Semester at sea programs are obviously organized. You basically purchase this opportunity and then you go to different places that are already expecting you, while if you choose independent travel, you are much like a tourist. You go wherever you would like to, and then we usually have a week or so in every country. And while we are on the ship, we usually study and have some free days and really fun programs that you can participate in, which I personally really liked. And you can make a lot of new friends and connections all over the US as well as worldwide. Most of the population of this college program is from the United States, but of course there are people from other places as well. Life on the ship is generally really fun. You have classes like in a normal college. The difference is that, of course, the ship is continuously going, so there are time changes, there are storms sometimes, so you gotta get used to it. But each one of us got used to the sea, and it is really fun. As you can see on my pictures, we have a lot of beautiful days when you can just go and sunbathe after your classes. It just is really fun. And we also have gym and cafeteria like on other campuses. So essentially you get that experience in addition to traveling around the world and making friends that way. We also have field programs. Each of your classes will have an opportunity to go in a country and do something related to your classes. I went to different hotels in Vietnam with my international management class, which was really interesting to see how they embrace culture in their hotels. Um, so moving on, who do I recommend this program for? It's mainly for people who are ready for an experience that will be life-changing for them. And I think it's for everyone who would like to get to know more countries. If you are mainly looking for a language learning experience, this is not necessarily the program for you, but it is if you would like to travel and get to know yourself as well as um, other countries better. Could you move to the next slide, please? Thank you. So to finish up my presentation, I would like to just show you guys some pictures of my friends and the places I've been to. Um, there are some group pictures of my friends in Japan where we've been, and we went to really great museums seen on the right side, which is the Digital Art Museum. In Vietnam, we also went on some adventures in Hanoi and Ha Long Bay. And lastly, there's a picture of Mauritius in the left corner. We hiked with my friends, and every single country was entirely different and some new experiences that I will definitely never forget. So finish up with this presentation with Semester C's main mission, which is the world is your campus. So you can actually learn everything throughout these troubles that you might actually need in your life in the future. You never know where learning comes from. So it's not necessarily in a regular classroom, but it could be there as well as on a street in Vietnam or eating sushi in Japan. So thank you so much for your attention, and I hope everyone has a great day.
So my study abroad experience was a little bit different. I did not go for a semester. I was on a short-term faculty-led trip, and we went to Barcelona. This is all of us having a silly picture together. And the topic of the course was sites of memory. So what happened is that in the summer of 2019, so it's the summer right after my first year of college, we spent about 10 days in Barcelona and used that as our home spot. And from there, we also visited other cities like Tarragona and Madrid. Our purpose was to analyze sites of memory, which connects a lot with public history in the sense that we are looking at how the country uses a lot of their physical spaces and physical historical sites to reflect on their past, or rather how they misuse these sites to reflect on their past poorly in some cases. I think one of the most life-changing places that we visited was Valle de los Caídos, which essentially is a monument to fascism that still stands and operates as a church today. And so visiting there, we got to see how it's used and how people still look at it, even though, as from my opinion, I do not support the fact that a monument to fascism still stands, especially because this one is also a mausoleum, and in it are the stolen remains of those who fought against fascism in the Spanish Civil War. I decided to go on this trip because I knew I always wanted to study abroad. I've known since I was a sophomore in high school when my history teacher was like, "You better study abroad, just do it." And I'm like, okay. So I had that ingrained in me. And so when I had this opportunity, I felt so honored because I had only been taking Spanish for 2 semesters, and my professor thought it'd be a good idea for me to go to Spain with him. I had never taken Spanish at all in high school or middle school, so this was a big deal for me. And I'm also a huge history nut, so knowing that the course in Spain was going to be revolved around sites of memory and looking at the historical past really helped me get excited about going on this trip. We were also able to do normal touristy things as we would if we were going by ourselves. So a lot of Gaudi's famous spots in Barcelona, like Park Güell, as you see on your left. Chris sat there, I think, for an hour just looking out at the city. And on the right, La Sagrada Familia, we did get to go inside and see it, and it is absolutely stunning. And the benefits of what makes study abroad stand out from normal tourism is that you get a deeper insight to the region. As Reka said, you have people there who are expecting you, and they're experts. They're from this area. They know exactly what they're talking about, and they can guide you through. So instead of being an outsider looking in, you're an outsider brought in, and you get shown the country rather than trying to observe it and just seeing things on the surface. So what I gained from this experience was a lot of confidence in my Spanish language skills. Right now I'm in an upper level Spanish class with a bunch of Spanish majors and Spanish minors, and for someone who just started taking Spanish her first semester of college, it's a huge deal for me. It also connects to my major. I'm a history and English major, and this course, I say course, it was 10 days, but it felt very immersive. So this course really taught me a lot about public history and history in general, that I've made connections with my Spanish and European and world history courses. There's also a depth of understanding of the Catalonia region, that's Barcelona, its tension with Castile and Spanish history as a whole. That's my favorite picture of Casas. Because the other thing I gained from this was the memories and the friendships and having fun with a lot of people, as you can see.
That is really great. Thank you both so much for sharing your experiences. It sounds like you had different points of learning, that you made connections to your academic work in different ways, but that both were extremely valuable. If anybody has a quick question for either one of the presenters, you can type that into the chat right now, and we'll be happy to share that with either one of our presenters today. So it sounds like we don't have any questions at this point. Oh, wait. Have your study abroad experiences affected your career choices? For either one of our presenters.
With my career, I know I want to go into writing, and writing is my strength and my passion, and that's pretty much all I know. And I'm open to going any route with that, but I'm definitely excited about learning Spanish and being able to do that in the future as a volunteer commitment in whatever community I end up in. So while it's not necessarily affecting my career path, it has made a significant impact on what I want to do with my future.
Excellent. And yes.
In my case, it did make a huge effect, because I applied recently to for my master's to continue my studies, and I am probably going to be mastering in tourism development and culture. So it is actually a huge impact for me, because I don't think I would have made this decision by myself. I wasn't sure this is what I'm explicitly interested in business, but it seems like it actually was a huge push for me. And I think with the changes in COVID, that made me even more interested in this area. So yeah.
Oh, well, thank you very much. There's one last question here. It says, were there any interactions abroad that changed your perspective about that country or area of the world? That perhaps
Absolutely.
what you thought, yes.
A lot of Spanish history, I think, is uncovered, especially in American education systems. So when we got to Spain, the Barcelona region and Catalonia region especially, we got to see the tensions and the civil unrest that exist there. And so I definitely have a stronger opinion, a better opinion of Barcelona and the Catalan culture and language, and a better understanding of that, and a lower opinion of the Spanish government as a whole and how they handle their history and past and resolve, or rather don't, tensions in their country.
Do you have any recommendations, either one of you, for students who might be interested in studying abroad? How should they pursue those opportunities?
I would say go for it. It's going to be so worth it. It might not be what you expect, but it doesn't really matter, because the point is that in the end of the day, you go there to learn. And even if it's about yourself, not necessarily your language or anything else, it will change you somehow or change your life. And you never know what you find or what you explore that will make a big, big change.
Wonderful. And our Director of Study Abroad at Hood College, just put in a quick mention for him, is Dr. Scott Pinczakowski, and you can reach him at pinczakowski@hood.edu, or you can contact the Career Center and we'll put you in touch with him too. Thank you both very much for a wonderful presentation. Enjoy the rest of the sessions or the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Time for our next session. Now we're changing thematically a little bit for the